Well, I'd like to congratulate everyone on the success of the International Visitors Leadership Program, one that's been around for, as I understand it, about 75 years, and has been one that has established relations between our nation and other nations, and our valley and other nations in the world, as well as our state-wide efforts. I'd also like to say that the Global Ties Arizona has been around for 50 years, and that's been also a very successful program. Look, what we have now is a viable and thriving international trade state. We have an ability to coordinate and work together with people of other nations on a variety of issues: trade, tourism, frankly, human rights is one. And I think a good example of this continuing progress is the establishment of a trade office in Mexico City that represents both Phoenix and the state of Arizona. And one thing I know about our incoming governor, Doug Ducey, is that he is committed to international trade. I was interested one day, I talked to the foreign minister of Mexico. By the way, they have a new, young, dynamic president who's made some significant changes. And he told me that Mexico does more business with the state of Arizona than Mexico does with Spain. You know, that's quite an achievement when you think about it. We have been able, I think, in Arizona, and especially in the valley, but also throughout our state, to establish ties with other countries in a really remarkable fashion. For example, when I travel to the Middle East and countries like UAE, Qatar, Oman, others, I run into a very large number of young men who have studied at Arizona State University, University of Arizona, Northern Arizona University, Thunderbird. It's amazing how many of them, and many of them in royal families that are very in high-ranking positions. There's also a group of people I run into in my travels who have come to Arizona, very frankly, to see the Grand Canyon. But while here, they've gotten the flavor for our state, for our valley, for our history. And anyway, a lot of this is facilitated and made possible by the work of the people who are here tonight. We live in a very dangerous world, in a world of great turmoil. And so your work on global leadership, on other programs such as International Visitors Leadership Program and others are more important now, I would argue, than in any time in the past. There is a force afoot in the world, and it's called radical Islam. And the best way to combat that is through our programs such as you are engaged in, so we can better educate, we can better inform, and frankly, have them improve their economies and the lives of the people that are in those countries, because frankly, that is the catalyst for a lot of this. So I congratulate you on your 50 years and your 75 years, all the great work that you're doing. Keep it up, and I'm sorry I'm not with you tonight. I'm headed to try to do the Lord's work in the city of Satan, which is not easy these days, but I have renewed hope with the good sense of the American people. If only there was a third of them that decided to give us Republicans the majority. And finally, could I say, if there is an area where we can improve our economy, that if I'd ask you to give a priority, it's on trade agreements. In the past, we have seen these trade agreements over the objections of certain special interests, some of them here in Arizona, that have benefited the countries that we engaged in the free trade agreement with. But the country that has gained the most is the United States of America. The North American Free Trade Agreement is probably the most beneficially, economically treaty that we ever signed. And there are some of them out there: Trans-Pacific Partnership, partnership with the Europeans, and some even in our own hemisphere, that I believe deserves your support. We have to overcome the counter-influence of the special interests, who might be somewhat harmed by it, but I guarantee you that free trade is one of the most important factors in improving our economy much more rapidly than it has since the 2008 recession. So congratulations. I've talked too long. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy the evening. And come see me when you're in Washington to visit your money.